Central Park was originally part of the estate owned by Liverpool merchant and ship owner Sir John Tobin. The park, comprising 37 acres, is used for many leisure activities, and the centre of attraction is the picturesque lake, which now attracts wildlife. Many a tadpole and stickleback have been netted here and taken home in jam jars by excited children through the years. Nowadays, the lake maintains its tranquility, unlike at the turn of the century when you could actually row on it. The building we will always know as the Art School was originally built as Liskeard Hall around 1830 and was the home of Sir John Tobin. A street named after him runs down to nearby Egremont Ferry, which was founded in 1828 by Captain J. Askew, a one-time owner of slave ships and who had business connections with Tobin. Captain Askew built a house and named it Egremont after his birthplace in Cumberland. This is how the surrounding area got its name. Although the ferry ceased to operate in 1941 due to the pier being rammed by a passing steamer and causing irreparable damage, visual memories still exist today. The remains of the pier were dismantled in 1946. Designed in 1874 by William Carson, it looked like this at the turn of the century. A short distance along the promenade towards New Brighton, a local landmark is noticeable today by its absence: the Mariners' Homes. The building was opened on the 16th of December 1882 and dominated the skyline until its recent demolition. Just around the corner is King Street, which is one of Wallasey's oldest thoroughfares. It is named after Ellen King, who owned the land on which it was built around 1824. Prior to this, the area was known as Barn Lane. The popular present-day snooker hall was originally a roller skating ring before becoming the Royal Cinema, the first in the area to show cinemascope. And a mile down the road is Seacombe, which is nowadays the subject of much redevelopment. The ferry buildings were redesigned in 1930. Before that, they looked like this. Borough Road was so named in 1918. It was previously Victoria Road, but as there was a similar named road in New Brighton, confusion was caused to the fire brigade. The Embassy, now a bingo hall, has had many names and was for many years a cinema. It was built as the Irving Theatre in 1899 and can boast the appearance of Stanley Jefferson, later It has always attracted people for different reasons. Up to the late 1950s, it was a major tourist attraction with its seaside and fairgrounds. Nowadays, its face is ever-changing due to constant redevelopment, but it still attracts many day trippers who simply enjoy the fresh sea air and spectacular sea views. The imposing green dome of St. Peter and Paul's can be seen for miles around, and is another major landmark. This overlooks what was once for many of us the highlight of our lives, New Brighton Fairground. Nowadays, a grassy hill replaces the helter-skelter, the big wheel, the figure eight, the ghost train, and a host of other adventures for both young and old. Although it is now a peaceful space for picnics and walking the dog, if you listen carefully, you can still hear the sound of excited holidaymakers carried on the breeze, along with the smell of fish and chips and candy floss. This was the site of New Brighton Tower, which began construction in 1897, but was dismantled around 1921 for safety reasons. The Tower Ballroom, which presented many artists from Harry Lauder to the Beatles, was finally destroyed by fire in 1969. The famous front has recently seen many changes. A roundabout now graces the bottom of Rowson Street, and a new-look pavement borders the marine lake. Fort Perch Rock, however, has remained virtually unchanged since it was built around 1829. Today, windsurfers and powerboat enthusiasts replace the hired rowing boats on the lake. Yes, New Brighton Front has seen many changes since the days when it was known as the Ham and Egg Parade. Seen here around 1900, it is now the site of Victoria Gardens and the Floral Pavilion. And is there anyone who can honestly say they don't miss the pier? But probably the biggest change has happened in the last few years. The disappearance of a major attraction which has been a part of this area since 1934, the New Brighton Bathing Pool, once the largest outdoor pool in the world. Here we see it just prior to its demolition. Seeing the interior for the last time brought back many happy memories of the place where I, like many others, learned to swim. Now, an open space awaiting redevelopment takes its place. Another major change which is underway at this point in time is the redevelopment of Victoria Road. Let's take a last look at the place which once buzzed with crowds of holidaymakers, buying postcards and souvenirs and losing all their change on the penny slot machines. Gradually, this locality is changing beyond recognition. Gone is the old bus terminus, the arcades, and most of the familiar shops. Those who knew this area in the past might get a sharp surprise seeing it today. The road has hit hard times in the last few years, so let's hope that with the effort being put back into it, there is a bright future ahead. We are now looking at the beginning of a new Victoria Road and a new era in the life of New Brighton.